Hey, everyone. This is Sonya Jones with GIP Financials or Mr. Miyagi of Money. I'm so excited to be sharing this new series with you. I know that we talked about the four financial roles in videos past, but guess what? Somebody said we're on a new level. And so, what I wanted to do is not only introduce you guys to the four financial roles, but I wanted to bring in real life experts role so you can hear from the horse's mouth what each role represents, how they represent CEOs in their financial journey, and the questions that you should be asking to find your bookkeeper, your tax preparer, your tax planner, or your CPA. So I wanted you to hear it directly from my experts. And if I roll with anybody, my squad runs different. So today we're going to talk about the financial role, which is the tax preparer. And if you've been following GIP financials, there is only one tax preparer that we roll with, and that is none other than Michael Tunstall, Bro Tunstall of G1 Business Group, located here in Memphis, Tennessee, along with GIP Financials. And I'm here to tell you, GIP Financials would not be where it is today without Bro Tunstall. And everybody knows Bro Tunstall as that, affectionately known as Bro Tunstall, because he is such a blessing in his business, such a blessing to GIP Financials, an amazing partnership. If you have a bookkeeper, you should have a tax preparer, in my opinion. Just saying. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, show your love for Bro Tunstall.
Right. Yeah. It's the one and only, baby. But
Let's go,
listen,
Bro Tunstall. That's great.
listen, I just want to say I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to grace your presence today. I mean, I really appreciate that. I'm a blessed man for real.
Now, likewise. You know how we roll, Bro Tunstall.
Yeah. Like I said, I am very, very excited and looking forward to this conversation. Really.
Absolutely. So one of the things that Bro Tunstall and I both value is education. And as we service our clients, we make sure that they always go back with something that not only, even if they don't, close business with us, but they always have something that they can take away and implement immediately. And that's one of the things that makes our partnership so solid, is because we always want to see people win, and people can't win without education.
You're
And
right about
so
it.
that's
You're right about
why that's why we are here tonight. So we're going to have an in-depth conversation about the tax preparer's role. And if you don't have pencil and paper, child, you better go get some. Right, go get it right now. So, Bro Tunstall, let's start off with a good old introduction. I can introduce you, but I want you to talk about G1 Business Group and how you got started.
it. Okay. Yeah. So as Sister Jones said earlier, I'm Michael Tunstall, affectionately known as Bruh Tunstall. Um, I am the owner of G1 Business Group Tax and Accounting. I am, and so just to kind of give you a little bit of background, actually in 2013, I started off as G1 Tax Service as a side hustle. And so I was working my side hustle along with my corporate job, and as of 2020, I decided, you know what, let's take it beyond the side hustle thing. And so what I did was I turned it into a full service organization, right? And so G1 Business Group, right now, we currently we offer services for businesses to formulate their LLCs, their corporations, and so that type of thing. So we also offer, of course, individual and business tax preparation. We also offer tax planning, as well as we do some bookkeeping on the side in case Sister Jones is too booked up or whatever. But the bread and butter and the item that I love is the tax preparation. because I actually, when I first started preparing taxes, I realized that, you know what, taxes are more than just plugging in numbers. Taxes are more than just plugging in numbers. And so I went to Christian Brothers, got my degree in accounting, and I was on the move at that point because I began to learn a little bit of tax law and that type of thing. So it really had my juices flowing. And so that's where we are, and so that's where we are today. And so we're still excited to offer services to businesses as well as individuals.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And I love what you said about, taxes and not filing taxes, not just plugging in numbers. And let me just share a testimony with y'all. This is how good Brother Tunstall is. Because I still do my taxes. But I'm telling you, Brother Tunstall, next year might be the year that we might have to take it up a notch. If you know
You
what I
never know.
mean.
You never.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
So what I did for my 2020 taxes, because that was the year that, I purchased a car and I wanted to take advantage of the bonus depreciation. But I noticed on my tax return, I didn't see where the loss was, from that depreciation or how it was properly reported. So I sent my taxes to Brother Thompson. I said, can you take a look at this to see what's going on? And y'all, can I tell you, it was only one box that I had accidentally checked that I had to uncheck. That's what y'all talk to. That's what kind of fire we got on YouTube today.
And
But
you know what, Sister Jones, and see, and the thing about it is, because in my corporate life, I was a financial analyst, and I paid close attention to details, and it was small details like that I was able to pick up on. So that's something that I mean, I don't know what it is about details and trying to find little trends and that type of thing. I don't know. I'm a geek, I guess. So I love to be challenged on things like that. So yeah, that's what I love to do.
right, right. And I totally understand that. And you have to have a certain level of tenacity and relentlessness to work
Right.
with numbers, because literally things can change. It's that 1 cent that can
Yeah.
change things, and certain functions will not move forward unless those books are balanced. So I wanted to make
Right.
sure too that people understood, especially since we're going to talk from our profession, but also as entrepreneurs. Because although I work with numbers and Brother Tunstall works with numbers, as you know, we have certain superpowers, if you will, right? So I wanted to make that crystal clear as well. Because if you are an entrepreneur, the more specific you are in what you do, that's going to help narrow who you can serve, and that's where your profits reside. Okay.
Right. Right.
Because
That's it.
if you notice,
Mhm.
Bert Tunstall mentioned that he does several things, but there are certain things that he does, services that he does more of. Of course, like we said, with bookkeeping and tax preparation, they pretty much go hand in hand. And especially if Bert Tunstall wants to make sure that 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 tax filing is accurate, he's gonna have to do a little bit of bookkeeping. Because let's just be honest, everybody not coming with their numbers all the way together, right?
Mhm.
And another thing, and that's why we work so well as a partnership, because I tell people all the time, I do not do taxes. And just like a couple of events, a couple weeks ago at a truckers event, child, I was Brother Tussle's assistant. So they were asked about taxes. I said, yes, I have a tax partner, and I'll take your information down and I will pass them referral for like Friday going, I was going like this. So I just want to make sure that I also talked about that. So CEOs, you have to make sure that you are very specific at what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with it, because that's what's going to make sure that you have the clients that are going to respect and value and pay for your business. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Good. Good. Good.
Right. So with that being said, let's segue into where you talked a little bit about why you chose this particular role as far as you being in the corporate world and then your love for numbers and serving people. Was there anything else that helped you kind of push into why you wanted to be a tax preparer?
You know what? It was actually a natural inclination for me because, as I said before, I'm a geek. I love numbers, and so it does something for me when numbers make sense. And so
Mhm.
because when I started out, I was just preparing income tax returns for friends and family, that type of thing. And so after taking a course at H&R Block, I was like, you know what, I can do this for myself. And so that's one of the reasons why I chose the role, as a tax preparer, because it was just a natural inclination for me. It was something just natural
Mhm.
to automatically get into. And that's really the number one reason why. Because if you're doing something, you want to make sure you love it, or otherwise you're going to get burned out. And
Right.
so that's basically what it is. That's why I chose the role as a tax preparer. Somebody that loves numbers, and the thing I learned also was the fact that I was good at math, back in the day, but but I found out that really taxes, it's more than numbers. It's really all about the tax laws. And so you
Mhm.
have to understand the tax laws to understand how to apply those numbers, right? And so,
Right.
so yeah, so that's and that even intrigued me even more because the tax code. If you saw a picture of the tax code, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of pages. And so, me being able to kind of thumb through some of that stuff and understand how we can get some of the biggest tax breaks for our clients, man, it was it hey, it excites me.
That's wonderful. I can tell it excites you. I can see the energy just radiating off your face there, but so now I want to also, this is the part B, because I know we one on one had talked about your developing love for tax planning, as well as you saw like the need for tax planning when dealing
Mm.
with your clients with tax preparation. Talk a little bit about that, because sometimes, because entrepreneurs and CEOs need to know about that too, because if you're really listening to your clients, you got to know how to be, as my mentor Sean Strickland says, a gap filler. So talk a
Ah,
little bit about that.
okay, yeah. And so one thing I found a statistic actually just recently, and it says that 95% of business owners, guess what? They overpay the IRS in taxes.
Mhm.
95% of business owners overpay the IRS in taxes. And so my goal, and again, my desire to be the best that I can be, I'm striving to make sure that my clients are in that 5%. And so that's
That's
always my goal, to make sure that that person is in that 5%. But yeah, but that 95% of business owners that overpay taxes, I'm like, wow, man, that's way too much. Because I don't know about you, but I can spend my money way better than the IRS can, right? And so I can spend, because I can think of a lot of things I could buy with the money I pay, to the IRS, and so yeah, so
right.
I can spend my money a lot better than the IRS can. So it's you definitely don't want to be on in the 95%. And so strive to be the 5%. And if you're gonna choose a tax preparer, make sure that you are choosing somebody that is definitely being strategic and not just plugging in numbers.
Oh, bro, Thompson, boy, you have spoke a whole word. That's what I'm talking about. So we just gonna slide into that question next. So, and as far as you talking about your tax preparer being strategic, how does your role help entrepreneurs or CEOs?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question. So,
Mhm.
how do I help CEOs and business professionals? So, first thing first, I make sure that they remain compliant, because the IRS is a gangster for real. You know what I mean? So, uh, if you don't comply, and guess what? The IRS has a way of snatching everything that you own to make sure that they get theirs. Right. So first and foremost, I make sure that you remain compliant on the as well as the state level, and in some cities, of course, the local level. And so that is
Right.
my assignment, first of all, to make sure that you're compliant. And so then the second thing that I do to assist CEOs and entrepreneurs is that because of the strategic mindset, I make sure that I minimize the tax liability, and as well,
Mhm.
or if they are due a refund, maximize the refund. If there are some credits that are available to them, I definitely want to be in a position to at least put them in a position to gain those credits. And so, and that's
Mhm.
what I do for my entrepreneurs and my business owners and CEOs. And so that would have to be the most important.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that. And just as a side note, if you notice, Brother Tunstall was talking about, the different ways that he can assist you in your tax preparation. Because let's be honest as well, businesses have, different parts of their journey. This is why us talking about your goals are so important, because there might be some seasons in your business where a loss is okay. But if you're trying to acquire a loan or trying to scale your business, your street cred is pretty much in your tax return, in your P&L, in your statements. So if you are showing a loss and you're trying to get some money, I'm telling you now, it's not going to happen. This depends on which bank you go to, right?
Right.
So this is why it's so important you get with an expert that is not just transactional. And I'm gonna keep talking about this, especially with these taxes and who you get to do your taxes. CEO, please stop going to your cousin DT and them that made the honor roll at school and they did good on the mathathon. We're gonna have to come up a little bit higher than that. We got to come up a little
Right,
bit
right.
higher than that. Right? So when you are going to, look for your tax preparer, Bro Tunstall, are there any specific questions that they should ask to separate the experts from, the non-experts or the novice tax preparers?
hmm Yeah, some questions that you should ask. And so the first question that comes to mind is make sure that that tax preparer has a P10 or a preparer's tax identification number, because that is the number that
Oh, yeah.
tells you that, hey, you know what, they are registered with the IRS, and so the IRS understands who they are and that type of thing. So that's first and foremost. Make sure that they have a P10. And the second thing you want to ask is, uh, on your circumstance, based on your circumstance, has that tax preparer filed a tax return like yours? What type of experience do you have with these business taxes? How good are you with these Schedule C's? Or if you are an S corp and you need to file an S corp tax return, what is your experience on those type of returns? And so that's another question that you should definitely ask. And so another question you should ask is, how do you determine your fee? How do you
Mm,
determine your fees? And so and I'm not saying how much you're going to charge me, but how do you determine your
right.
fees? So one thing you need to steer away from is that person that will charge you based a percentage based on your refund. That will, let's
Mm,
say if you are a person that has got the earned income tax credit and you expected to bring home a refund of 9,000 or $10,000, and then so that tax preparer say, well, listen, because you're getting 10,000, then I'm gonna charge you 1,500. But no, but ask them, how do you determine your fees? And so, in most cases, I know for me, I determine my fees based on the complexity of the tax return. On the complexity of the tax return, there's a base amount, and then depending on how complex your situation is, that's when the price, it changes. And so, those are the things that definitely you want to ask a potential tax preparer. And one more thing you want to ask also is that, when tax season is over, Can you still be reached? I mean,
Oh, yes.
can I still call you when tax season is over? And because what I like to tell a lot of clients is that tax season or taxes is more than just a January through April game. Taxes are more than just a January through April game. So you really play the tax game all year long, especially business
Hmm.
owners, especially CEOs. In order for you to be most effective and cost efficient and all that kind of good stuff, you've got to play the tax game all year long. So again, that goes back to that tax planning. So and having a relationship with that client and understanding their needs and their goals and that type of thing. So we can understand. Okay, so let's plan to pay this amount of taxes by doing A, B, C, or D. Yeah. So taxes is a year-long game and not just a first quarter of the year game. So those are some questions that I would definitely ask a tax preparer. Do you have a P10? What is your experience in the type of return that I need filed? How do you determine your fees? And then are you somebody that I can reach all year round?
Oh, bro, Tunstall, child, we can just probably just end it right here. When I tell you, first of all, just even with the P10, right? Accountability. Because if
Right.
something happens with your tax return, you need to make sure that somebody else is there to at least put them folks on paper. If they, if they ghost you or something like that, something crazy happens, you need to be able to reference them so the alphabet boys will know, like, hey, they not straight.
Right, right.
They
And
put 'em-
and so and speaking to accountability, so now tax laws are to the point now to where a tax preparer that is causing a lot of errors. Guess what? We're getting fined now. We're getting penalized now. So I know at one point it wasn't as much, but now they're really tightening up on those rules. That hey, if you are a tax preparer that is always filing erroneous tax returns, guess what? For each offense, you're getting charged, you're getting penalized, and so that is accountability is crucial.
I really appreciate that. I really do, because think about it, you guys as CEOs, we know we talk about investing, and you want to make sure that you have a proper return on your investment. So if you're going to invest in experts, you got to make sure that your experts have the street cred and they are willing to be transparent enough to be accountable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I mean, we got, bro, Thompson got paper. I've got paper. We're both members of the BBB. We're professionals in what we do, and we're not gonna sit up here and invest in stuff like that. We didn't want to. If we're doing something crazy, we want to know. First of all, we're not gonna do anything crazy because we're not like that. But we invest in certain memberships and things like that just to let y'all know that we are really about the business in serving our clients. So I just want to make sure that I said that out loud as well, right? So that's good
You're
stuff.
right.
And then one thing I would say too, it just like what Bro Tunstall was talking about, those tax forms. If I would even also ask if you know the tax form numbers of your thing, because that'll really the more specific you are, that'll let you know if they really know what they're doing. And I'll tell
Yes, sir.
anybody over and over again, if you're constantly asking questions and they act like you're wasting their time or they're impatient with you, they're not the one for you. Because we understand that when it comes to taxes and bookkeeping, this is money and this is sacred ground. If this is a big deal, right?
Right.
So we
And
understand
yeah,
that there's a level of bedside manner that comes with our profession. Go ahead, bro.
no, I was gonna say that that integrity is vital. Integrity is vital
Mm-hmm.
because when you allow G1 Business Group to prepare your tax return, then guess what? We have access to your security number. We have access to all of your financial, paperwork. So you have to
Right.
be able to trust that individual. Yeah, so you're right about that. So you don't want to just choose anyone that is hard to trust. And so, and as you said, if a person cannot answer you, or it seems like it's an issue to answer your question, then maybe they're not like person to be filing your return.
Well, you heard it. You heard it here first, y'all. So make sure that you wrote those questions down. Okay. So now that we've talked about asking the proper questions to vet your, prospective tax preparer, just say that a prospective client wants to do business with you, Brother Tom. So can you walk us through your intake process for that new client?
Okay, yeah, sure. So first thing first is the meeting, the phone consultation, and so we offer, of course, the first time is a free consultation so that I can understand your situation, your tax situation, and you have the ability at that time to ask any questions of us. Okay, and so once we have that phone conversation, then what I do then is I send you an invitation to a secure client portal. And so in
Mhm.
that secure client portal, there is an engagement letter that states that this is G1 Business Group will be doing for you. Okay. And
Mhm.
after you read that engagement letter and you sign off on that, then I also have a questionnaire. There's a questionnaire there. And so it will ask you questions to help us to better understand the type of income that you have received. It help us to understand your family structure as far as dependents and that type of thing. So, so the questionnaire, it's not a long questionnaire, but uh, enough questions to kind of get us going. All right, and so and then
Mhm.
after after the questionnaire is done, then we have a space in that client portal for you to upload your documents. And so that's it's a simple intake process, but definitely on the front end, we make sure that we are first of all in a position to assist you, and then two, it's also an opportunity for you to make sure that you want to work with the G1 Business Group.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And yeah, again, security, integrity is paramount for both of our professions. And I have witnessed the client portal. And when I tell you it's Trump tight, that thing is Trump tight. So, and those are type of questions too that you need to ask, like how are you securing your data? Because
I was just
you're
about to
gonna
say,
be talking about, you're gonna be handling our information. What type of ask about the type of platforms that they're using. Can you walk me through what that looks like?
yeah,
Because your clients may not be tech savvy, things like this. So yeah, when we say be specific, be specific.
that's it.
Be
And you're absolutely
specific.
right because you have to make sure that that the tax preparer is going to maintain your privacy as it relates to your personal information, right? And so that secure
Hmm.
client portal was it's huge, but it was my way of making sure that when your information is in my hands, I make sure that it's safe.
That's right. That's right. So let's kind of pivot a little bit. We've talked about the client, but now let's talk about what technically our clients are CEOs. But let's kind of shift to kind of our experiences as entrepreneurs and CEOs ourselves. So I wanted to make sure that we, did both, right? We talked about how we serve and then how are we sharpening our own iron in our own business, right? So one of the things that I wanted to really highlight was the importance of investing in ourselves and developing ourselves for our business. So you talked a little bit about that with going to, CU and H&R Block and your PD with, the IRS and taking those courses and getting certified. But what do you feel was the most effective investment that you've made in your business?
Okay. So the most effective investment that I made in my business would have to be really the continuing education. Whenever there is something new as it relates to something that's on the horizon as far as understanding tax code for the brand new year. Uh, Continuing education. That's the biggest thing for me, I would have to say, because you don't want a tax preparer that's stuck back in 2000 and the year 2000, right? Because tax laws are always changing. So you definitely want somebody that is consistently making sure that they are on top of the newest tax laws. And so I would have to say
Mhm.
the continuing education that I purchase and the classes that I attend would have to be the most effective investment. And so in the end, if I could add the second one, would have to be the secure client portal, making sure that my
Mhm.
clients' information is safe. So those are the two things that I've invested in that are really the most effective for me, so that I can be the best for my client, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more on continuing education. And especially, and hear me clearly, child, let me get my face all in this camera. If you get a PPP or EIDL, you need to make sure that you get with a tax professional who is updated on tax law for such a time and product as that. I was saying again, child. Because, and we can talk about that too, because in our, when we did the preparing your tax return, we made sure that we talked about that because of, one, and you got, especially with the PPP and the EIDL, anything that comes down from the federal government, those things are subject to change because, depending on who's in the administration at that particular period of time. Right.
Right.
So even with those things, you got to make sure that you are with somebody who is talking about those things. And the PPP and the EIDL are going to be something I know Bro Tunstall and I are constantly, checking on that particular thing in addition to other things. But because of the fact that we know that thing was so hot and a lot of our clients did take advantage of those, we want to make sure that they stay in compliance with that, in all aspects. And we have to stay abreast of that every year. So I'm saying that again. I'm gonna put my big forehead in this camera one more time. If you got the PPP or the EIDL, you
Mhm.
better come see us so we can
There you go.
make Child, we talk. That's a whole nother video.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So with it, do you have any other advice for entrepreneurs? Let's talk about the babies. What about the startups? If there's somebody out there that's looking at us that maybe, let me see, has their business started maybe not even a year old, or they may have an idea and they want to think about starting a business, what advice would you give them?
First of all, the first piece of advice I would give is that make sure that when you set your business up, make sure that the entity that you form best fits your goal, right? Uh, the, we can formulate an LLC, and so which is great, and it helps to protect your personal assets. But an LLC does not do anything to save you money on
Right.
taxes. And so first and foremost, understand the ramifications of the entity that you want to form as it relates to starting your business, right? And then the second thing I would have to say is that uh, it's important that you understand your numbers. One of the shows I love to watch a lot of times is Shark Tank. And
Mm-hmm.
I love it when they ask the participants, well, what are your numbers? And so uh, that is another piece of advice. Definitely do whatever it is you have to do. Make sure you know your numbers, and that's why it's imperative that you have a fire bookkeeper, accountant, such as Sister Jones and GIP Financials. I'm telling you because if you don't, then you can't plan for the future if you don't know your numbers.
That's
And
right.
if you want to be in business for a while, you definitely have to understand. And so make sure that you understand your cash flow, right? And so those are the two pieces of advice I would suggest. Make sure that you get some consultation on before you set up your entity, and then making sure that you know your numbers. by investing in a bookkeeping. So those are the two things that I would suggest and offer to new client or to new CEOs rather.
Exactly. Just like what Bro Tunstall said, because I know one of the things that I hear about a lot is, when we're talking about those entities, is the LLCs, and the sole proprietors and the S corps and stuff. And people don't. Well, one thing, if they hear about the S corps, on Instagram and social media, they don't understand that there's levels to those types of things. You just don't want to just file an S corp just because. And then also,
Right.
when we're talking about LLCs, that's a state recognized entity. Because another question that people have is, I thought that there was I thought the Schedule C was just for the sole proprietor. No, it's also for the LLC, because from the state standpoint, the LLC is recognized, but that's why the LLC is not recognized by federal. Is from the tax perspective,
Yeah.
it's recognized and taxed like a sole proprietor. So that's why LLC is the Schedule C form. But if you don't have an expert, they won't be able to tell you that. Theta.
Right. That's good. That's good. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head actually. Yeah, so you're right though. So the LLC, you're still in a sense a sole proprietor, but you're recognized with the state. So that you're absolutely right. And so you talked about the S corp. Many see these videos on Instagram and they say, hey, this is a way to save tax dollars. Yeah, it is a way to save tax dollars, but you have to also understand the ramifications of when you set up that S corp. Because if you don't have a certain amount of income coming in, the S corp does not make sense for you, right? And so because your administrative costs increase big time. Why? Because you have to, when you set up an S corp, you now have to file an S corp return as well as your personal tax return. So you got to pay that preparer to file both, right? And then you also you've got to make sure that once you set up the S corp, you've got to go on payroll, and so you've got the payroll taxes and those types of things. Again, administrative costs, and so you have to make sure that your income level is high enough to absorb all of that in order for it to even make sense.
Oh yes. Oh, I want to give the deacon hand right now. We still got stuff to talk about. My hands are itching. I want to do it right now, bro. All right, so we have talked about, I'm a clown. So we have talked a lot about the role of the tax preparer. We've talked about entrepreneurship, right, and the things that we've gone through, and also giving a little bit of advice. So, Bro Tunstall, we know with our talks, Q4 is a very reverence time for us, because this is kind of the equivalent to the bears, eating all the food and getting ready to hibernate before the time to wake up and be a bear again, right? So now we are really trying to get we're trying to make sure that our clients we're reviewing their numbers to make sure that all of their deductions are maximized. We're making sure that their numbers are aligned with their, particular goals, be it personal and or business. But we're also making sure as well, because we have war stories, right? With prospective clients and things that we've seen, things that we've heard, stuff like that. So we're also strategizing to make sure that our clients and our prospective clients, we get the word out. Like, this is the time to make sure that you are locked in with somebody to get your numbers in position, right? This is Q4. You don't want to be in that position where it's December and you're trying to scramble, trying to think of deductions and stuff like that. Because to be quite honest, it's a little bit late, and you don't want to run the risk of doing something, super risky, and you hadn't talked to an expert, right?
Correct.
So this is why we are on here now having these talks, so you can recognize who we are, and also be thinking like, what do I need to do for my taxes as a business owner, as an individual, or both, right? So, Bro Tunstall,
Mhm.
two questions. So, how can people connect with you? And if you have any offers or specials or anything like that that you want to offer, now's the time. I got the deacon hand.
Okay. Oh, now you got the deacon hand. Okay, okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. Okay. So, um, so the best way to connect with G1 Business Group is, well, we got several ways. So you can definitely go to my website, which is www.g1tax.com. That's G, the number one tax.com. And so from there, you can definitely sign up to get, emails, emails from us, or schedule a meeting. That's one way to do that is by going to our website. You can also, we're on Facebook, G1 Business Group LLC, and as well as Instagram. And so those are the ways that you can best reach out to us, right? And so the website has all of our contact information, and that's really the best starting point. Okay. And so as far as any offers, right now, as I said earlier, the tax game is a year-long game. And as Sister Jones said, quarter four, that's the time when you need to be preparing for tax season. And so what we're doing now is, if there are some individuals, some CEOs, some business owners that felt like for 2021 you paid way too much to Uncle Sam, then listen. So now is the time to schedule an appointment to come and sit down, that we can do a tax estimation or a tax plan, so that by the time December 31st hits, then you already know what your game plan is for tax time, right? Because you don't want to wait until April 15th and you find out, oh man, I owe $25,000. No, we don't. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So it's best to understand the fourth quarter of this year, to understand where, what you've got to pay. And so, if there's an opportunity to limit that or decrease that, quarter four is now the time to understand what that is. And so you have a little bit of time to, if you can't do anything else, now is the time to get that money up so you can pay Uncle Sam. And then you got to do better by getting with G1 Business Group at the beginning of next year, so that we can play the tax game all year long, so that by that time the following year, you will owe considerably a lot less. So that's what you need to be doing.
Boy, I tell you, that was worth. I wish I had four hands. That deacon had one,
But
two.
you got two and I got two. There you
What?
go.
Come on, Bro Tunstall. Get
There
up
you go.
along now, Bro Tunstall. We got to see it in the screen.
Okay,
Get the
there we
deacon
go.
hand.
There you go.
Yes. There you go.
Come on.
Oh, double deacon hand. Yes. Bro Tunstall, boy, I tell you, that just blessed me. That blessed me for sure. But yes, did y'all hear Bro Tom say it's you the tax game, the tax time all year long. The numbers, your numbers, you have to check them all year long, y'all. We
Yep.
talk about the same thing in bookkeeping all year long. This is not just you give us your numbers and we just, abracadabra a la peanut butter sandwiches. This is not what this is. You want to
Right.
make sure that you invest in a partner, right? Because not only is Bro Tunstall going to file your taxes, he's giving you guidance.
Mhm.
And he's also giving you tax planning strategies as well. So just think about that. I can probably confidently say there's not a whole lot of tax preparers that are also offering tax planning,
Right. Yeah.
right? So think
Yeah. Yeah.
about that to return on your investment. So not only is he going to give you like your deduction strategy, right? He's also going to ask you like, what are you trying to do with your business, in the next few years, right? Let's start looking at how we're going to shape this thing in your tax strategy to make sure that your numbers look right. So when it's time for you to scale and access capital and all that good stuff, that your numbers are already in position to
There
get the
you go.
funding that you need, right? And also, everybody is starting businesses, right? So you can have financial freedom. So we gotta
Mm.
talk about the tax plan. And so when it's time for you, to you release yourself from that 9 to 5 or what have you, then you're not having to worry about, any additional financial stress in the back of your mind. That's what
Mm.
tax planning does for you. Hallelujah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, a quick testimonial. Got a client that on last year he had a tax bill of like $24,000. $24,000, and so he decided he would go ahead and allow us to do the tax plan for him. And so, just touching neighbors said that we were able to take his tax liability down for 22, um, more than halfway. And so, and if he does everything that I tell him to, then he's going to be back at zero. And so, yeah, so we've it's real. It is real because there are so many strategies out there that so many of us are not taking advantage of.
Oh,
And so, and you need somebody that's diligent, somebody that's is going to pay attention to detail in order to get that tax benefit for you.
boy, you hit the nail on the head. Everybody say obedience. Oh, obedience. If you're gonna invest in us, please do what we recommend.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but you
Got to
can't
do
get
what we say.
mad at us.
Uh-huh.
Right. You can't be sitting up there. One, you want to fuss about how much we charge. And then when we tell you to do something, you still offended. Don't be like that. Let us help you. Holy Ghost.
Right. That's it. That's it. Yeah, it's an investment. I mean, so and if you care about your business, you're going to invest in your business. You're not going to leave your bookkeeping to Pookie them, or as she said, you're not going to leave your tax preparation to that person that was good at the math-a-thon, back in junior high school. No, no, invest in quality professional advice so that that your business is has no other choice but to succeed.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Bro Tunstall, every time that we talk, we just have a good old time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We encourage each other, we edify the people, and we every time we get together, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you, Bro Tunstall. I really appreciate your time, and I hope that everybody heard the wisdom that was given today.
Mm.
And if
Yeah.
y'all if you heard the words and you know for a fact that you need your numbers reviewed, and we'll make sure that Bro Tunstall's information is in the description in the show notes. If I'm saying it right, I'm seeing
Mm.
sis and stuff like this. We're gonna make sure www.g1tax.com. Please get with Bro Tunstall, and please let's come on, y'all. It's Q4. Catch us now before January, because between January and April, it's pretty much a wrap.
All right. You're right. That's it.
It's pretty much a wrap. So let's get proactive, shall we? And go ahead and get it
Amen.
done, right? And go ahead and lock us in now before the rush comes in the
Mm-hmm.
following top of 2023. So, Bro Tunstall, again, thank you so much. Thank you for being our partner, the GIP Financials. Thank you for just being the servant leader that you are.
Yes, ma'am. You know what? And I appreciate you and the platform allowing me to share some space on your platform. So most definitely, as always, wishing you nothing but the best. And I know it's already done. It's already done.
Oh, yes. So we're gonna have church too, Bro Tunstall. That's what we about to do. We about to
Hey,
have
we can
church.
do that too now. We can do that too now. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so thank y'all again for just tuning in to this video. And again, just stay tuned because we still got the bookkeeper. We got Latasha Long is one of our positionists, and she's also the owner of Legacy Pro Accounting. We have Nick Smith, who is going to be our tax planner representative with the Berkeley Financial Group. And we have a mystery person for the CPA to be announced. So we'll let you know about that. I know, get my Mr. Burns, The Simpsons.
Right.
Yeah. So thank y'all again so much. Y'all have an amazing evening. And we'll catch you on the next video.
All right. See you guys.